Hello, Brad here, just to say we're super proud that the Friday 5pm podcast is sponsored by the Malt Miller, the UK's best home brew store.
We use the Malt Miller for all of our homebrew experiments, as well as tapping them up for advice and binging on their awesome YouTube channel all the time.
That's why whenever we release a homebrew video, we put a recipe kit live on the Malt Miller, so you can brew with the exact same amazing ingredients that we did. The same ingredients used by pro brewers.
So alongside the Malt Miller's nitro-flushed hops, cold-stored yeast and milled-to-order malts, you can pick up recipe kits for our 5 Points Best Bitter, Russian River West Coast IPA, and now the fastest beer in the world, a hazy session IPA that goes from grain to glass in less than 48 hours.
Sign up to their newsletter at tinyurl.com/Malt Miller to get 5% off your first order. With the Malt Miller's amazing customer service and Johnny's 48-hour recipe, you could order the ingredients on a Monday and be drinking the beer by the weekend.
Speaking of which, it's Friday.
It's 5pm.
So enjoy this week's Friday 5pm podcast. It's Friday, it's 5pm, and by the sounds of it, probably neither me nor Brad will be drinking a Friday 5pm beer, given that we both consumed copious amounts yesterday.
Yeah, man. I was at Jack in the Green Festival in Deptford. One of the two sort of famous Jack in the Green festivals, the other one being Hastings, which I might go to at the weekend. I think theirs is on this weekend. But it's basically a May Day celebration that has its roots in kind of earlier pagan stuff, but has been kind of adopted as just a kind of good bringing of the, a bountiful harvest kind of thing and a new growth and all the rest of it. So people get all dressed up in green, pull twigs off, new growth off of trees and like make little headdresses and stuff. The Jack is actually a person that's in a wicker pyramid structure, quite impressive, and that is adorned with flowers and new growth, and they lead a procession which the one in Deptford goes all around Deptford and down onto sort of the Greenwich foreshore and then back around the back streets of Deptford, hitting up some of the best pubs in the south. So it starts at the Dog and Bell, one of my favourite boozers. I was drinking pints of Landlord at 11am and then proceeded to drink various things as I went around and mingled with all sorts of different people that had come from all over the place. There were Morris dancers. What I missed out on this year was I realised I need to get a tankard. I need to be carrying a tankard at these events because as you're walking from one to the other, you have to drink up really fast because you can't.
So you need a takeaway.
You need a takeaway cup. So when you see sort of folky looking people with pewter tankards out and about, they're pretty clever because they've worked out they can have road beers in a socially acceptable way. But it was fantastic. Had a great time.
I'd imagine a car boot sale enthusiast such as yourself could get hold of some beautiful tankards.
I see them all the time. I see pewter tankards all the time. I even thought I could take my solo, the only award that I've ever got, which is a lovely tankard. And maybe I'll start taking that out, but I wouldn't want to lose it.
Dude, that's a flex, drinking a British Guild of Beer Writers tankard.
Yeah, I was like, maybe I should do that. But then Kirsty was like, well, I haven't got one of those. So she
needs to win a British Guild of Beer Writers Award then.
Or something else of equivalent value. But it was great. I went to this pub called the Lucky Anchor, which I've never been to. I would class it as a micro pub in that it used to be a shop unit on Deptford High Street. And now it's an amazing boozer, like genuinely amazing. 4 lines of cask. I can't even tell you the amount of keg stuff that they had on. Cantillon in the cellar. Great guy Dimitri running the place. Incredible list of stuff. I drank some Bang Fresh Daya, and I believe it was, what was it, Pastore or someone collab. Who was it? Yeah. No, Daya Two Flints, Chasing Shadows. Was amazing. Great, amazing Bang Fresh beer. A guy I'd befriended called Nicky, who was wearing a kilt and had an amazing beard. He was drinking some Holy Goat, stuff that just smelt absolutely amazing, like farmyard bonkersness. And they had everything in between. They had really good Budvar on tap. Shout out Budvar. Kirsty was drinking some of that.
This place sounds like the perfect addition.
It's great
To the app,
right?
That is flirting with being finished.
Yeah.
I know it may have been a while since we updated everybody on that, but Brad and I had a run through of a working app last week.
We did.
That looks very exciting. There's some tweaks, some more content that needs to go in, a little bit of design work, but it is a functioning real thing finally. 2 years, I think, after we announced we were going to make it for various reasons. But yeah, I mean, I'm starting to freak out because obviously I've written, to those who don't know or hadn't ever heard of this before, we're designing an app called Beer Time that is essentially, because we get asked constantly and it's only increasing the amount of times that people contact us going, I'm going to this place, where should I go? So we're going to have a map with all the best places, and it's only the best places. Like, it's not just going to be, oh, this place has some craft on. It's like, no, these are world-class places, and this place sounds like one.
Fantastic.
So yeah, I've already written 250 bars around the world, and I thought no, not 250, 450, and I thought I was done, but maybe I'm not.
No, I think it's
maybe I need to go to Deptford.
You need to go to Deptford. Yeah, it's great. This place is excellent. Yeah, it's weird. It's so incongruous where it is next to like a Tesco and stuff that you wouldn't expect it, but
well, I hope
phenomenal.
Hope it can work in those surrounds.
Yeah,
Sounds like it is.
That's amazing.
I've got 2 questions about Jack and the Green.
Yeah.
First one is, were your landlords sparkled?
No. Hang on. No. Sorry, you confused me. Did I say landlord? I actually meant pride. I said landlord, didn't I?
Oh.
I said landlord.
Yeah.
I had a lot to drink yesterday, Johnny. I was drinking pride. I don't know why I said landlord there. I think what it was, before we started recording now, I was just trying to think if any of the pubs I went in had landlord, because they all had pride. I don't think any of them had landlord. So that was we stopped at a Fuller's pub as well, the Sale Loft, which is down in Greenwich, and is vast and has an incredible outside. It doesn't really look like a pub. It's in like a sort of like a fancy tower block on the river, but quite expensive pints. But I had a really nice pint of Dark Star pale ale. I can't remember what it's called, Cosmic or something. That was really tasty, and yeah, got to hang out with loads of beery people in the hospitality industry around that area. So Toby from Hot Burns Black and all sorts of other characters. Little Faith people were there that I've known from back in the day as well, that are now working the Lucky Anchor. So definitely go and check it out.
Right, there you go.
If you love Little Faith, go and check it out. It's cool.
Sounds good. The other question I had was, how do they elect the Jack?
That I don't know.
For the festival, do you know?
No, I don't know that. Oh. But I having been 3 or 4 times now, it's the same group of people that are running the whole thing. So they are called, it'll just take me a second to locate what they're called, Fowlers Troop. And they're pretty cool. They're a whole band of people that are musicians, and they play sort of trad folk music as they're processing around. Some of them got giant drums. People bring along their own instruments as well. We met a nice person who'd come down for the first time, and they brought a penny whistle, and they were actually a music teacher, and they'd messaged Fowlers Troop a couple of weeks before to ask them what songs they would be playing, and they'd learnt all of them, which I thought was amazing.
Awesome. How
cool is that? So yeah, all these people are getting involved. We've got a tambourine that we forgot again. We always forget the sodding tambourine, but it's great. I'd highly recommend it to anyone. Go to the Hastings one this weekend if you find yourself in the south of England. It'll be fantastic.
Still time, folks.
Yeah, you could still go there, and I really, really do recommend it. A lot of the Hastings people were there as well. They come along to support the Deptford Jack. So that was also pretty
So it's not
cool.
rival Jack.
No, it's all real nice.
Jack.
Super nice. Yeah. Couldn't meet a nicer group of people apart from maybe a heavy metal bar where you're going to find excellent people as well, or a gig or something. But yeah, super, super nice, friendly people.
There you go. Well, I had a very different experience in London yesterday. So I was at the Fortnum Mason Awards.
Oh, was that last? Oh, okay. Right, yeah.
That was last night with the hoi polloi. Is that the right phrase? I don't know.
Could be.
Dressed up people.
Yeah.
And yeah, took home Drinks Book of the Year.
Get out. Did you? Wow.
Which is, yeah.
Oh, that's news to me.
Very exciting.
Wow. Well done. Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah.
Second time in a row. Well, not in a row, but second one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I skipped last year because I didn't have a book.
Yeah.
But this year, yeah, and had a great time. Saw the snack hacker, George Egg. I met El Burrito Monster, which was a big moment for me. Huge fan of him. I'm going to be tapping him up for maybe an Instagram collab because he is a beer geek. We spent a good half hour. We got talking about no and low because he's a big like marathon runner. So he drinks lots of low alcohol beer, and we got talking about the best ones. And then he brought out on his phone a list. He has like a football league of low alcohol beers.
Okay.
So he has like Premier League, First Division. We disagreed on quite a lot, but we both put Rothaus up top.
Interesting.
So he's clearly a man of taste. I mean, if you watch his videos, you'll also know he's a man of certainly a man of taste, but also a man of many tastes.
I've never heard of this
in
guy,
one burrito.
but I'm just looking at
You
him
haven't
now.
heard of El Burrito?
No, man.
Oh my god.
I'm not a big burrito. I'm a
He's,
taco guy. I'm not really a burrito guy. But
I mean, these burritos are not really burritos, Bradley.
okay.
Essentially, he'll come up with another meal, another cuisine entirely, and make it into a
Burrito it.
So his belief, yeah, exactly. Does this burrito?
Dude, I can
is
see
essentially
there's like sliced burrito on top of a pizza. It looks like a pizza. What the hell is going on here?
That sounds about right.
This is crazy.
But he is a legit amazing chef who I think he's completely self-taught. It was a lockdown thing that got out of control. And he does everything from scratch.
Wow.
You know, the breads, he'll smoke his own meats if he's doing something like that, like everything from scratch, and he shows it all in 90 seconds on Instagram.
Oh, cool.
It's the most. I think it's the most effort that any Instagrammer puts into their videos on the entirety of the
Get
internet.
out.
It's just insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have a look at this. It's all about the what do you call it? The slice through. Amazing.
Oh yeah. The final reveal.
The reveal, by the looks of it. But
yeah.
there's one that looks crazy. It's like burrito Inception. There's a big burrito ringed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 smaller burritos around the outside of it, and then glued together seemingly with cheese potentially.
Very likely.
It's wild. It looks wild. Okay, El Burrito Man, El Burrito Monster.
Yeah.
I will. I'll give him a follow. He looks like he's burritoed a Scotch egg, which I'm a fan of that.
Almost certainly.
Wow.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm amazed he hasn't. The algorithm hasn't sent you him multiple times.
No, never seen it. Never seen such things of the like.
No, the world hadn't seen it until he came along. It's honestly utterly unique. So it was great to meet him. There was no Stanley Tucci.
No Tucci.
Sadly. So I couldn't touchy the Tucci.
No touchy.
And I probably would have, because I forgot how crushable champagne is, especially after a win. So this morning's been a real. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, just the slight tenderness.
Yeah.
It's been a real struggle this morning.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
somebody decided to dig up our road outside this morning at 8 a.m. as well. So
That's always fun.
that was just great. It might have been arranged by somebody that didn't win. It felt like a personal attack at the time.
Great. That's well, congratulations anyway, man. That's fantastic news. So you got another one of their trophies then. They're sort of
Another one of the slightly odd trophies.
like a wicker basket sort of looking thing from memory.
Yeah, it's a 3D printed. It's made from sugar, like
Is
sugar
it?
plastic.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it's a wine cooler that look. If you go on the Instagram, on our Instagram, I've put a photo of it.
Okay.
But there was, I forget his name. He's a posh actor, a bit Victor Meldrew-esque, but not. I can't remember his name. But he sort of did an opening speech and presented a Lifetime Achievement Award to Mary Berry.
Okay, cool. Wow.
He referred to it as referred to the trophy as a waste paper basket just in the first minute of the award ceremony, which I'm sure went down like a lead balloon with Fortnum and Mason.
It does look like a wicker waste paper basket from memory, to be fair
he's
to him.
not wrong.
Yeah. I didn't know it's made of sugar.
I kind of agreed.
Sugar plastic, whatever you just said. Interesting.
Yesterday my paperback came out, The Meaning of Beer paperback in all its turquoise glory, and it is now, Fortnum & Mason Drinks Book of the Year, which is incredibly exciting. So if you haven't bought it, or if you're sick of me promoting it, buy one, and then you can just tune out whenever I do it.
I was going to say...
this ain't the last time.
At this point, every listener to this is well aware you've got the book and has probably bought it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway, congrats.
Is that your way of saying chill your beans, Johnny?
Well, it's every week. It is relentless, but it's obviously paid off. So congratulations. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. So let's dig into the wider beer news, which is not such happy news generally.
No.
I don't quite know whether the Urine Beer story is happy news or not, but as the headline claims.
Well, it's got.
This is the Daily Star.
Before we go there, Johnny, it's got a good. Oh, go on. I was going to say it's got a good Mayday connection because they collect. Well, go on. You tell it first, and then I'll say why.
Let's explain what it is, and then you can connect it. Yeah. So the headline is Festival Goers' Urine to be collected for brewing beer by the bucket load this summer.
Yummy.
Grim.
It's not quite as bad as it sounds, though, is it? Because they're not actually going to turn the liquid urine into a lovely, delicious beer. What they're going to do is I'm trying to find it where I've written it down. They're going
to dry it into a powder and scatter it on the crop,
exactly,
on the barley.
So basically, they're trying to make a human urine-based fertilizer that would be way more environmentally friendly and less degrading to soil health, because the stuff we put on the fields currently basically sort of takes all nutrients out of the fields every year, and it makes the quality of the soil worse and worse.
I'm still a bit confused because it's still just ammonia, right? So I'm a little bit confused as to how it's better. But
Dunno.
I'm going to trust the Daily Star brand.
Yeah, is it like nitrates and stuff in it normally as well? There's loads of crazy stuff in fertilizer.
Nitrogen, ammonia, and something else. I think is sort of man-made.
But they collected this 20,000 liters in a single day so this happened in Sweden, in Uppsala, which is a very old town near Stockholm. At the Portalees were at the Walpurgis Day celebration, which is a traditional May Day, spring, coming of the spring, summer celebration, right? So it happens on the 30th of April, and that has spring songs and bonfires and all sorts of stuff going on. So it's kind of cool that it's another one of these celebrations that happened around the May Day. But yeah, it's interesting. I
found something I found fascinating from the article was that rather than having a dedicated, rather than having a urinal, right, where it's only wee going, they decided to collect it from where everything goes.
Yeah, there's a poop
which
chute.
Makes me, there
must be cross-contamination there, surely. But it is.
I hope nobody's drinking a beer right now because they might have just pushed it to the other side of the table and gone, don't fancy this anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, it's just fertilizer. We use animal effluents as fertilizer, right? So muck spreading. If you live in the countryside or you happen to go through this countryside at certain times of the year, you're like, why does it smell like shit? And it's because they're...
Oh yeah, we had it. Was it last week or the week before here where I live?
Yeah,
we're out in the sticks, and actually we're surrounded by barley and wheat fields. Interestingly,
yeah, there you go.
I need to work out who the farmer is and ask him where his grain goes. Because there's a park that we go to all the time. It's all. I think it's wheat actually rather than barley.
Yeah, but when you think about it
could be in beer.
It's totally natural, right? Because you've got we grow, as Neil from the Young Ones said, we grow the seed, we eat the seed, and then we are the seed or something. I can't remember what the famous line is. but he's the hippie from the Young Ones. They only made like 10 episodes of that or something. Everyone thinks there were loads of episodes. There weren't.
Yeah, it's like Faulty Towers.
Yeah.
It's like this iconic thing.
Surprisingly short run.
Episodes.
Exactly. And where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so like obviously it's cyclical, right? So the animals eat the spent grain, they poop out the spent grain. We then put that poop back on the soil, and it helps produce the grain. And it goes round in circles. That's always the way it's been.
It's the circle of life. Like
exactly.
Lion King.
Exactly.
Mufasa, another great philosopher, says, you know, that we eat the antelope, and when we die, the antelope eat the grass that we've
Does he say that, innit?
helped grow.
Does he actually say that? Or are you making that up?
He's Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah,
right.
he's explaining the circle of life to his son.
I have not seen it. I'm obviously aware of the Elton John Circle of Life song. Did he do the whole soundtrack to that, I believe, didn't he? If I imagine that.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And then Phil Collins has done some soundtracks to Disney stuff as well.
He did Tarzan.
There you go. And he wrote that song about his daughter, didn't he?
You'll Be in My Heart is an absolute banger.
That's about his daughter, who was very young at the time, I believe.
Yeah, which I find odd. It's written about his daughter, but I thought it was about Tarzan. I
know, right?
I'm a bit confused there.
It's odd. It's odd.
So yeah, in Sweden, careful what you drink is the summary of that one. In the UK, so there was some sad news that Xmore Brewing is kind of shutting up shop. Essentially, it seems to have been, I don't know whether it's been bought out. It's very fudged, the sort of the narrative around it, but they're now going to be brewing at Hogsback Brewery, having closed their site near Exmoor. So they're now, I think, maybe they're moving everything to Surrey and brewing at Hogsback, and they're blaming. I say they're blaming. They're right to blame. Essentially, the massive spike in costs for being a brewery. COVID, sky high inflation, and tax increases.
Yep.
Is what the managing director Jonathan Price has blamed. And yeah, it's a real shame because I drank quite a lot of Exmore. Obviously, Exmore's in Somerset, but going to university in Exeter, there was always Exmore beers around, so I drank quite a lot of it. So it's a real shame. It was a good brewery, and we're working on a campaign to try and save cask, and one of the larger and older cask ale breweries has just gone under, but. This news coincides with a very exciting time of year for our podcast because we get genuine
stats,
beer insight.
Yeah.
So I think it was last week was CBC, the craft beer conference in the US, which is when the Brewers Association, so sort of the lobbying group for craft brewers, releases its annual report, sort of the state of the industry. And I don't know whether it's on purpose. It's also a very similar time that the UK SIBA, so Society of Independent Brewers, released their craft beer report. So we suddenly have all the fascinating stats, as well as, and we'll go through this after this, we've got the results of the World Beer Cup, which is, in classic American fashion, it's not the world. It's like the World Series. It's America. So the 8,000 or so American breweries all submit their beers, and we can tell you what the best IPA was in America coming soon on this podcast. But should we start with the stats? There's some really interesting ideas in here.
Yeah.
That might point to everything. So we'll start with the US report. So 4% decline in craft beer sales in the US last year, but 43% of breweries grew. So that would imply that the breweries that are doing well are doing really well, slightly at the expense of other breweries.
Yeah, so it's like
sort of a consolidation of sales.
Yeah, like tadpoles eat each other. It's in
Wait, what?
In the pond of juvenile tadpoles eat each other apparently. So
okay.
I was reading a couple of weeks ago about how scientists have engineered, I think they're cane toads, the invasive species that they're all over America running rife and everywhere. They've introduced a genetically modified tadpole, which always stays a juvenile, right? So, but like a froglet version, so it's a bit bigger than the others. It never grows up, and it just eats all of the younger ones. So it just eats them all,
Wow.
and that's the way
Dark.
it like wipes out. It's gonna wipe out the population because it's like a little Terminator. It just goes around destroying all of the younger ones. So yeah. Anyway, this is the way that some of them have had breakout successes, and maybe in their towns, their cities, their states, they might be cannibalizing a little bit of the other ones who rivals sales. Maybe.
As always with these podcasts, you surprise me.
Yeah.
With that feeling where like you're in a car, you're not driving, and you expect somebody to like take a left turn or something, and they don't, and you feel a little bit like whiplashy.
Yeah. Do you got whiplash from
Like
that?
your body's like, whoa.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So we've got the tadpole effect that it'll now be known as.
Yeah.
As a result of that, to some extent, I guess 524 closures.
Yeah.
In America, which is a huge number. So there's about 8,000 breweries. So that's what's that? 6% or so. But over 400 opened. So overall, about 100 brewery loss. And most of the breweries that closed were smaller than 500 brewers barrels, which is about 800 hectolitres. So sort of the size of Baron, like sort of 5 fermenters, one guy doing it all kind of size. So very, very small breweries seem to be struggling the most, which makes a lot of sense because you might not have the cash flow and the history and the economies of scale and all that kind of stuff to survive big fluctuations that the tariffs and stuff are bringing. But here's the most interesting thing. So more people tried craft in the last 30 days from that report. So it's up from 9.1% had drunk craft to 9.8% in the general public.
Yeah,
which is nice. So
in the
nearly
last
1 in 10 people
in the last 30 days. What?
Yeah.
How have they found that stat? That seems like an unbelievable stat.
Well, you do your report, you do your survey, and say, have you drunk craft beer in the last 30 days?
30
and
days.
10% of people said yes.
Interesting. Okay. All right. I'll give them
So
a
it's
pass.
trying to create this idea of like, are you consuming it regularly?
Right.
Basically.
Okay.
That's what they consider regular, once a month.
Right. Okay.
But despite that, we obviously have a 4% decline in sales. So it means that people are drinking craft beer more often, but drinking less of it. So this sort of backs up this idea of drinking less, drinking better, but also the idea that people are tightening the old purse strings.
Yeah.
We all still have purses. So, that's a real struggle because what it shows is that probably the marketing guys are doing really well. The brewers are clearly making beer that's exciting people, but that still can't translate into more sales, which, just sort of shows how out of control growth really is for many breweries. And then, so all of this comes from the report, but also from the talk that the managing director, CEO of the Brewers Association, I forget his surname, but his name's Bart. He's a statistician. So all of this he's very good at reading stats. It used to be his job for the BA. So he said that the learnings should be that we should be, if we're trying to get Gen Z to drink, he called them the show me generation. So taglines like drink local is pointless to Gen Z people.
Okay.
He says that people should be explaining why you should be drinking local.
Show me.
The marketing and the show me generation.
Okay.
And I think it makes sense. I think if I was, 18 years old right now, I'd be a cynical young man as well with everything going on in the world. You must look at it and be like, what the fuck is everyone doing? So yeah, they want more than just drink local. They want it explained why. So brewers are going to have to find a way to explain, when you buy local, you are contributing to your own local economy, to local jobs, to supporting and investing in your own local area, rather than, if you buy, I don't know, something owned by AB InBev, most likely the tax is being paid elsewhere, and nobody from that local, except for the pub, obviously, makes any money from that. And that's a tricky conversation to have because it's quite a complex economic what's the word, theory to sort of think through. But the other thing he said is that breweries that were having a success were expanding out into non-beer products, which makes me a bit sad. But as a consequence of that, he's sort of saying that brewers should be focusing on flavour and not style and category.
Interesting.
So stop worrying about calling it the right kind of IPA, whether it's bright or cold or New England or whatever, and focus on what flavours people are going to get, because people are essentially reaching for mango, not for New England IPA, right?
Yeah.
That's what he's sort of surmised from the data that he's seeing and from being in the market, which is an interesting one. Craft beer seems to go through cycles of deciding to talk about flavour and then not deciding to talk about flavour at all, and talk about, you know, hop varieties and grams per litre and stuff, and then going back on itself and going back the other way. And I still have no idea what's best, but Bart thinks talk flavour, and I guess that makes more sense certainly to new drinkers.
Yeah, I mean, I guess flavour is easier to understand than like a style, right? Because if you don't know anything about beer, if someone goes, it tastes like mangoes, you're like, cool, I like mangoes. Whereas if they go, it's a New England hazy boy, you'd be like, sorry, what did you just say? So
exactly.
It breaks down the barrier of entry, doesn't it? To just like,
and I think
understand.
Even if you're a beer geek, like I don't think I've ever really gone, man, I want some Mosaic. You know, I never thirst for Mosaic, but I quite often thirst for overripe mango sweaty socks.
Do you now? We'll keep that.
Maybe.
Keep that to yourself. But yeah, interesting.
So yeah, that's the US, and then the UK. It's actually quite a different picture for craft breweries, and actually, weirdly, I was surprised by this. A slightly more positive one.
Mm-hmm.
So in the UK, overall beer sales dropped by 1%, but among SEBA members, we should be clear. So not all small breweries are SEBA members. I think there's a bit of a heavier skew towards cask and tradition than maybe there would be in the overall craft beer market. Not a huge skew, but slightly more. But they've seen a 10% increase in sales among SEBA members.
Great.
Which is great news. A 121% growth in craft stout.
Well, we know why.
Yeah, exactly.
We helped create it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a strong statement, but it might be true.
Craft stout, you just said, yeah?
Yeah.
So it's the Guinness knock-on effect that's you know, the Guinnessification of the pub, but then people are, you know, Martinistas and whatnot are, you know, and now people are drinking Anspach Hobday, and everyone's coming out with a big stout, aren't they, these days? That's crafty
100%.
stouts. So
it'll be interesting to see if that growth maintains, or if it's
you
know, everybody released one, everybody tried it, and then they didn't go back. We'll see if that growth holds. But you know, it's a genuine trend.
Oh,
it's not just Guinness getting very popular. It's stout as a whole, which is interesting.
Having gone to a lot of pubs yesterday, the crowd were a bit more trad, obviously, but you know, last weekend I went through a couple of pubs and everyone's drinking stout, mate. Everyone. Quite a young crowd I was in at Skians, and it's just stout wall to wall. And it was a hot summer's day as well, so no, not throwing any shade.
Seasonal.
Yeah, I'm not throwing any shade on like stouts in the summer, but I was like, I'm on the lager. What are you boys doing? Yeah, so it was an interesting one.
There you go. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that and keep an eye on what people are drinking, because it sounds like we maybe need to do some more stout content.
Well, it's the way to the top. Way to the top.
Just as summer hits. The next interesting stat was a 100% increase in no and low offerings from SEBA members. So double the amount of no and low alcohol beers being brewed.
So in a year, we're talking about
last year.
In a year, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, in just 1 year, it's doubled.
Yeah,
which is a pretty incredible stat, considering it's been
big anyway, really
hyped as the next big thing for a long time and never exploded. It looks like this is the year, or last year was the year that it happened. But here's the interesting thing, and I need to caveat by saying that I'm not 100% sure I understand exactly what SEBA's point is, but if I'm understanding it correctly, they're saying that craft beer, by which they mean beer produced by SEBA members, is about 6% of the market.
Yeah.
So that style of beer, sorry, not just SEBA members, but that style of beer. So small independent brewers. But in places where it gets to compete with global brewers, it has a 30% market share. So if you put I know Stella next to,
on the tap,
say,
on the bar.
Lost and Grounded Keller Pills or something.
Yeah.
You'll sell one Keller Pills to every Stella. But that doesn't bear out in the overall market.
Yeah.
2 Stellas to 1 Keller Pills.
Yeah. Okay.
When they can compete fairly.
Yeah.
But as a result of the fact that there's so many pub ties and so many pubs that aren't tied but have done deals because they need to survive, the actual overall market share is only 6%. So essentially, I think what they're trying to say is that if
given the
there
opportunity,
was no beer tie, then craft beer and cask ale could be about 5 times the size that it is.
Which is an amazing thing to think about, isn't it? Like, you know, we're all talking about the decline of craft and whatnot these days, but to think about if the hands weren't tied so much, then there is that explosive potential to you know, compete in a fair race on an even playing field. Craft has got some pretty good running boots on when it gets half a chance. So
I mean, it's a very crude assumption. I mean, you could also look at the US where they were trying to hit 20%, and they just fell short of that, I think. And I think it was at like 17 or 18 and has been basically forever. I think it was they wanted 20% by 2020 was sort of the thing that they were talking about when I was getting into beer in like 2010. And so obviously it is harder than perhaps the statistics might bear out, because obviously you might hit the extremity of the market that A, wants your beer, and B, can afford it before you hit potentially that 30% of the market share. But it definitely does show that the beer tie is damaging. And I think I've thought this for a long time, like, how could the craft beer channel help with the beer tie? But the problem with the beer tie, unlike, you know, the problem we're trying to fight with Keep Cask Alive, is that it's a very, very complicated thing to fix. You know, cask ale, the problems are clear. The solutions are not... The right solution isn't clear, but there's not really any barriers to it, except for potentially the pub tie. But tearing down the pub tie would be an enormous complication, because you'd have... you know, how do you go to Green King and say you've got 4,000 pubs? They've all got to serve non-Green King beer now.
Yeah.
How do you go to a company like Shepherd Neame and say that, you know, what is effectively a small, independent, family-run historic business, and you say all those pubs you own, you don't necessarily have a say over what you sell there anymore. And I do understand why there's a lot of resistance to breaking the pub tie, but equally, I have so much understanding and so much more sympathy for the publicans that are there, you know, with a brewery down the road who can't buy the local fucking beer. It makes absolutely no sense, and it's a racket.
Yeah.
You know, it's criminal in most other countries, the setup that we have in the UK. It's just that we've been built up around it so long that it's so ingrained that tearing it apart again is very, very complicated. So that's why Craft Beer Channel hasn't touched it yet, because I don't have an opinion on how to fix it, whereas I definitely do on cask ale. But yeah, it's interesting that SEBA think the market could be 5 times as big as it is if access to market was fixed, or was even, I should say. And then, so feeding back to the Xmore story, so 100 breweries closed last year, which
it's a lot.
Is bad. You know, that's 5%.
Yeah.
I thought it could have been worse. It feels like breweries are a little bit more robust than we thought they were. But I think actually the more devastating statistic is that 80% of breweries last year made no major investments. And by major investments, they mean, like, you know, important hires, new equipment, you know, building a tap room, any of this kind of stuff, which just shows that even those that survive this incredibly tough time,
they've had to hunker down.
Yeah, they haven't been able to expand for the good times, which is always damaging as well. So yeah, the complete lack of investment is going to cause other breweries to close further down the line, even when we don't have the headwinds we have right now.
Yeah.
So that, you know, for all the positives that are in that report, that one scares me a little bit, because in a capitalist market, you need to be growing, or else you're declining to some extent. because of inflation and stuff like this. So it's a tough situation.
Sure is.
It's a tough situation. Yeah, but on to more positive things. World Beer Cup, Bradley.
World Beer
What do you
Cup.
want to know? Give me the beer style you want to know the winner of.
IPA. Or are there different
what
subsets
kind?
of IPAs, I presume? West Coast.
West Coast IPA.
Or New.
So the winner is... Oh, it's a place I've been.
Oh, yeah.
Pint House Brewing in Austin.
There you go. Look at that. Congratulations, Pint House Brewing.
They won it for Mosaic Takedown.
Cool name. I like the name.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I sort of was flicking through this morning in preparation. There's so many breweries I've never heard of.
Yeah.
That are winning golds, which just shows the strength and depth, I think, of the American beer scene, and also maybe how long it's been since we were last there. Let's go for Bohemian Pilsner. Also, well, okay, so this is an international brewery. This is Japan have won it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, international breweries can obviously enter, but it generally doesn't happen that often. So Yokohama Bay Brewing Company from Yokohama in Japan have won with Bay Pilsner.
Wow. Congrats.
And actually so the bronze went to a Japanese brewery as well, Mino Brewery in Minoshi.
Wow.
So that's very cool. Interesting. A little lager revolution happening in Japan.
I think it was this week or last week. That is interesting. I saw sub £400 flights to Japan. You know, 360 quid. That's pretty cheap. Japan at the moment is very, very cheap for us, apparently. Lots of people are going to Japan right now from Europe and the UK, apparently. Because my
next book idea would take me there.
There you go.
Be,
very favourable exchange rate right now, supposedly. Yeah.
There's a guy you might like who pours beer on Instagram. Oh God, I can't remember the name. It's like Perfect Beer or something. It's a bar maybe in Tokyo where he takes his pouring and his glass cleanliness very seriously, and he's got a genuinely large Instagram following just through pouring beautiful looking pints. And he does little beer cocktails and stuff. It's a very cool little account.
Sounds good.
I'll put the link in the description, and I'll put my boy. Not that he needs the.
He's
at
1.4 million followers.
Monster in.
Yeah, 1.4 on Instagram. Crazy.
Wait, who?
El Burrito Monster.
El Burrito, yeah, he is, yeah, he's massive. I thought you meant the beer pouring guy. That would have been
no, I don't know
incredible.
I think that guy.
I think he's more like 100,000. But yeah, Japan, need to add that to the list of places we want to go and never inevitably get around to it. So yeah, if you want to look at that, it's an interesting list if you're planning any trips to America. And why wouldn't you right now? This is a good way to look at where you should go, or where you should go when you're there. What
was the number one New England IPA then?
Let's have a look. Is it going to be under New England or hazy? I think it's going to be under hazy. Whoop, not Hay IPA. Juicy or hazy Imperial India Pale Ale.
Okay.
Oh God, I think there's quite a few categories with hazy.
Okay.
But this one, so Imperial, I think is like double IPA.
Yeah.
So that goes to Juice Master.
Good name.
From Shred Beer Co.
Wow.
In California.
Okay. Cool. Congrats.
And then Straight Up IPA goes to a brewery called Everywhere, who I do know of. I've never tried their beer, but I've heard very good things. And they've got a beer called Shifted Visions that won the Straight Up IPA category. And then the Hazy Pale Ale category was won by a brewery in Japan.
Whoa, Japanese bringing it.
UCHU Brewing in Hokuto.
Wow, there you go.
And it's called Relax.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool. Definitely going to Japan then.
God, there's so many hazy categories. There's Hazy Strong Pale Ale as well. What's the difference between that and God knows? But Freedom, I've never known how to pronounce that, but very famous brewery. Freedom family brewers with their ingeniously named Hazy IPA.
That's a good name. Strong. Does what it says on the tin.
Do you know what? As I'm looking through the names of these beers, nobody's taking Bart's advice about talking about flavour here.
No?
No, everybody's either being clever or being very
Aloof.
to the point.
To the point.
Yeah. Beers called Hefeweizen, Weizenbock, Baltic Porter,
Yeah.
Imperial Red.
Interesting.
Come on, guys.
Mm.
So yeah, have a look through that. Lots of breweries we've never heard of winning lots of good stuff. So I'm glad that quality-wise, American beer is in rude health. Cool. Right, this week's video then.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one.
So, oh god, I've lost our video. Where's it gone? There we go. Here it is. So yeah, this is. I mean, I really struggle with the title for this video.
I don't
and
understand
think that
the
shows
title.
The number of views it's got.
I'm dyslexic, Johnny. I can't read it. How Hofbrau saved, then nearly broke Bavaria. It sounds weird to me that. I was going to mention it.
What do you want to call it?
I don't know,
We'll
but
change it right now.
I think it should be one of the other titles that I'd done that you sent me the thumbs for. I can't remember what they were, but what were they? Let's have a look back. World's most important beer. And then the other ones were beer is political, and I can't remember what the third one was. But one of those as a title, I think would be stronger.
Well, let's give it a go. See if it helps.
Yeah.
But the people that have watched it have loved it, and there's been lots of conversations and debates in the video.
Yeah.
Sorry, in the comments, I should say. I think we did a pretty good job of telling a very complicated story that lasts 900 years.
We sure did.
Sorry, 700 years.
We sure did.
600 years.
Yeah.
Centuries.
Yeah. I mean, you've literally written a book about it, so you came with some excellent deep dive knowledge. I think I brought some good knowledge as well, though. I think my beer token chat was pretty good. I think, as we've said, it might be the best investment in beer you could possibly make is buying Hofbrau beer tokens. And I'm presuming that might be a thing that you can do in other Kellers, beer houses and whatnot in Germany, potentially. Do you know if that's a system that is anywhere else?
Well, I mean, let's be real for a second. It's just a gift card, but it's a coin.
But
right?
it's like a postage stamp, right? It's always going to be legal tender, but it's worth more, isn't it? Because they put the bloody prices up all the time. So if you buy one, a couple of years ago, you paid £4 for it. That beer is now £6.
I understand the theory.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's just, I feel like. Well, I guess the twist is it's connected to the pint. It's not like a £5 gift voucher.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd imagine thousands of breweries do this. Like,
but would you though? Would you? Because surely it's a bad business move, isn't it? Because I guess you are realizing capital at an earlier time than when you're recouping. That when someone's calling in their investment essentially. So it's an interesting one. I hope that I don't know what the beer token looks like. I hope it's got one of those tokens with a hole in the middle, like a donut, and I would wear it proudly around my neck, like Mr. T, like a big necklace.
It's a coin. It looks like currency.
Yeah, a coin. But some coins have got.
It's got a hole.
Oh, why not?
Oh, have they?
Some coins have got a hole in the middle. Yeah.
Right.
I'd string
like
them.
A polo.
Yeah, I'd string them on like a polo. Only a little hole, but I'd string them up and wear it around my neck, and then I'd always have beer money, wouldn't I?
I'd presume that do you remember when beer festivals used to have token systems? They don't really have them anymore.
Yeah.
And you'd go home with loads of tokens because you'd buy too many. I'd imagine it's probably a very profitable scheme for them because people buy like 8 tokens and then never go back or lose them.
Them. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's an interesting one to think about. Because you've got to assume that some people, like you say, are going to lose them and they're not going to come back. But I don't even know if they're open to normal punters to buy or whether it's just the regular groups that meet there all the time that are able to have access to these things. You can imagine it would speed up.
I believe it is. I believe it's everybody.
You could really speed up the ordering. I mean, they're really fast anyway with your beers. But like, if you're just paying in tokens, it's going to be way quicker, surely, because you're like, all right, I just count out.
They
6.
do table service, so it all happens at the end.
Yeah,
so you have to bring your card machine over.
You just notch up your tokens, don't you? Go, I had 6 beers. There's 6 tokens. rather than trying to work it all out and blah blah blah. Whatever. It just seems like a great system to me. I like it. Big fan.
Brad's all in.
Yeah.
Brad's all in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there was loads of history that we won't go back over because you've all read the book and seen the video. But there was one comment that really caught my eye. It only came in overnight.
Yeah.
Which I can't quite understand how you can come to this conclusion.
Oh, I know which comment it is. It's a shade one, yeah.
Skjaldulfer, who says you're skirting the line of calling beer racist, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm not sure we are, but yeah.
I don't think at any point we said that beer was racist.
No.
I don't think you can call an inanimate
surely we were just
object racist.
Framing that these historic world-changing events took place in a beer hall. For better or for worse, that was where these things happened somewhere, and they happened there.
Yeah.
Kind of doesn't...
And they happen there for reasons, you know, but it's nothing to do with beer itself or pubs being racist. Like, we called Hitler racist.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's controversial to say that he was. But the beer itself was... It's like, was the table they were sat at racist?
Yeah, exactly.
What do we... I just couldn't quite understand that. But it made me laugh while off my tits on champagne last night when I saw it. Some people have been correcting some things. Obviously, when you're... So this was it the last thing we shot that day?
Yeah, it was.
So
stupidly,
we'd done 3 under the radars already at this point.
Yeah.
Which will be coming out over the next couple of weeks. And I got some of my facts wrong. So I said the world's longest royal
family,
monarchy.
Yeah.
I meant Europe's.
Yeah.
Got overexcited there, and I said Ludwig II, and I meant Ludwig I.
Yeah, these are only little things.
Who started Oktoberfest and opened Hofbräuhaus open
maybe
up to the public.
Maybe he did them on purpose to get more engagement in the comments, eh?
Yeah, maybe exactly like I did with the train video.
Exactly.
Just slip a couple of errors in, and people will come for you.
Yeah.
No lawyers have got in touch about my libel of Maximilian.
Good.
So that's good at least.
Well, I guess
I feel like they'd have come for me already.
They're all dead, as well as him being dead. They're dead as well, right?
Yeah. I don't know whether Prince Leopold might take exception, and he was such a gracious host. I don't want to upset him.
We've said we had a great time. We've said we want to go to the jousting, although I've hurt my shoulder, so I can't go. Although I haven't actually hurt my shoulder; it's more my back, which is a reoccurring thing. But I just don't want to be jousting, Johnny, at my age. It seems like a terrible idea.
I mean, I don't think you'd be invited to.
What?
Just to be clear, I don't think you turn. It's not like. It's not like.
Surely I can challenge,
night.
or someone can challenge me to a joust.
If you take a glove and throw it down, someone will be forced to joust.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like
okay, well, we'll check the rules.
What if I really wanted to go when I went to Los Angeles, beginning of this year or end of last year? I can't remember. I thought Medieval Times was in and around that area, but it's bloody miles away. If you remember the Cable Guy, the Jim Carrey film with Matthew Broderick, where they like fight in the arena, don't they? I can't remember how that happens, but they end up fighting in the arena of Medieval Times, which is basically like an American fast food banquet where there's like medieval jousting in the middle. I think it's like unlimited chicken or something as well. Not that I eat chicken. But it looks fun. And I couldn't go there because it's too far away, basically. I would have had to have stayed in a nearby hotel or something. And I didn't consider it was worth it. Also, very expensive, Medieval Times. But I'm sure if we ever get a chance to go to Leopold's, actual legit jousting stuff is pretty epic, I'm sure. And I would like to think...
I believe it is. Yeah. I've looked at the photos and the videos. Yeah. It looks incredible. And quite family friendly, so I'm eyeing that up, maybe for a holiday next year. Other things I just want to reference, we had quite a few people wanting t-shirts with some of the lines in this week's episode. Yeah, dude, I can ride a horse.
Yeah, I saw that.
I wonder if that one would need context. I don't know, like quite a few channels seem to make merchandise out of niche phrases.
Yeah.
I don't know whether we could sell many of those.
No, I don't think so. I used to say darkness is upon us or something, didn't I, back in the day?
Yes, that was some merchandise somewhere. Was it or maybe it was a?
I don't think we did.
sticker?
No, I don't think we did.
Did we not?
No, I don't think we capitalised on that. We weren't making merch
sure.
back then.
The other one is dig in, chow down, buckle up.
Yeah. Who said
I
that?
think that one
did
could-
we
we could-
both say that together? Was it like a combo of?
Well, I think I said dig in, chow down, and then you said buckle up.
Yeah. I remember saying buckle up. I don't remember saying the other bits. Interesting.
So I wonder if that could be our intro from now on.
Yeah.
If we've got a really meaty topic like
Chow
this one.
down. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why that came to mind. You say silly stuff when the camera's rolling.
Yeah.
Not you, sorry. I
do.
We both say silly stuff when the camera's rolling.
I try to.
Chow down.
Yeah, it's part of my
Yeah, I think you aim for it,
modus-
and I do it despite myself.
my modus operandi. Say silly stuff. That'd be a great tagline for El Burrito Monster, wouldn't it? Rather than us.
Yeah, it would be.
It's more up his strata.
Yeah, we need to find the drinking version of dig in, chow down.
We do. Buckle up. Buckle up's good.
Chin. I mean, buckle up is a classic.
Yeah. I put buckle up
Well-
on the instructional drinking glass. That says buckle up.
Yeah,
Unless
you
I
did.
wiped it off, I can't remember. It has got something and buckle up at the bottom.
Oh no, brace for flavor impact. And
Yeah.
fasten your seatbelts is what.
Oh, I
makes
didn't
final-
put buckle up on. I can't remember.
final edit.
I did
I
a
think
few.
so.
I did a few different versions where I had some different.
Yeah.
Just riffing on, in-flight instruction manuals, sort of the language and the look of those things. But yeah, cool.
Should say new stock of those glasses has come in.
There you
We've
go.
sold well over 1,000 of them now, and they're still flying out. But there's brand new stock and new stock of our Keep Cask Alive t-shirts arrived at the warehouse yesterday as well.
Nice.
So we had a lot of people in the extremities of the sizes, so XL and XXL, and also smalls, which we didn't get enough stock of. So those are now back in stock if you're looking for those.
Nice.
And we'll bear that in mind with any more t-shirt orders. Because you often play it safe with lots of mediums and larges, and we got it wrong, so apologies. But they're in stock now on the shop alongside more glassware and some bottle openers. Actually, I ordered some lovely bottle openers for people to buy as well. So dig in, chow down, and buckle up. Right, that's all we've got time for this week. We've got a what's the word? Under the radar next week. So our playlist where we talk about breweries that we don't think get enough love. And it's a very exciting brewery, some very delicious beers. I haven't actually decided which one is going to go live. I've now edited all three, so it could be anything. Maybe I'll ask our Patreon forum which one they want to see first.
Lucky
maybe
dip.
that'd be a nice thing to do. Yeah. So maybe I'll put that in the Patreon forum. You can, of course, join our Patreon and have a say in which one comes out first. But yeah, until Wednesday, have a great weekend. Drink some delicious cask ale. Tell 5 friends about our petition. And order yourself a small Keep Cask Alive t-shirt.
And
Love and beer. Oh,
no, I was going to say,
Brad.
go to Jack in the Green in Hastings on the
And go
weekend.
to Jack in the Green.
I might be there. Might see you there. Bye.
The Bubble and Friday 5pm podcasts are brought to you by the nerds behind YouTube's Craft Beer channel. You can watch over 400 mini documentaries at youtube.com/the Craft Beer channel. And if you love what we do, support us via Patreon and get access to merchandise and our amazing Discord forum, a positive and welcoming space for everyone who loves beer, food, and homebrewing. Love and beer.